Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you'll meet an executive coach and mindset expert. She's going to talk about inner healing next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
I'm a big fan of peak performers. I can guarantee you that every celebrity athlete out there is telling themselves a story that they are going to win this game, they're going to finish this marathon, whatever sport they're involved in. And that is all about mindset. And as the late, great Zig Ziglar used to say, beware of stinking thinking. Nancy Cramer knows something about that. She's an executive coach and a mindset expert. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm so glad to be here with everyone.
Absolutely. Well, I want to hear more about your journey. Now, how did you become a mindset expert?
Well, I became a mindset expert when I was with IBM, and I was coaching and consulting with people. Back then, it was something IBM just gave to their clients. And I had owners of companies anywhere from, several $1 million to hundreds of millions of dollars. And I would coach and consult them on strategy as well as their things they needed to do with their employees. I left that and went to work for one of the top professional speakers in the country. And that was an interesting adventure because I was put in to go and find out about what other people were doing. So I did all of that. And then I realized that I had a gift for being able to get people to open up and to be able to share their concerns and their journey. So fast forward several years, I've coached people on exceptional presentation skills, leadership skills, as well as the skills it takes to be successful in all areas of life. And I've done a lot of training, and it's something that I just love. I love to see the light bulbs come on when someone gets it, when they realize, oh, I can make a subtle shift and it will make a difference in every area of my life. And so that's what I do now.
Absolutely. And Nancy's an amazing speaker. We found her sizzle reel. Let's go ahead and roll that.
My name is Nancy Cramer, and I'm a leadership consultant, writer, speaker, and coach. And I teach seasoned and emerging leaders how to make better decisions faster and with more insight. I do this through speaking engagements to corporate and association audiences, and also through workshops and seminars.
When you get good at identifying, they say they want this, but sounds like what they really want is this, then you're able to go to meet those needs, being able to get in simpatico with somebody enough that they feel comfortable and that they trust you, and then being able to lead them to where you need them to go in order for them to be satisfied and have a positive experience.
When I work with an audience, I explain just enough of the neuroscience and the psychology so that they'll have the context to understand the examples I'm going to give to them and better learn the skills that I'm going to teach them. I want them to leave the seminar with something that they can use right away to make their business more successful.
When I teach customer service seminars, I teach people to manage very meticulously what people see, what they hear, what they smell. So what does a place feel like is critical to our businesses. And when we are having one-on-one out in public at a networking event like this, right? What do people see? What's the tone of voice? What do they hear? What do they feel?
So when I'm brought into an organization, I can work with leaders,
sales, and customer service. All of my presentations center around controlling emotions. The reason why that's important is that deals are either won or lost based on people being able to control their emotional state appropriately in the moment.
Customer experience is emotions. When we're talking about experiencing, we're creating emotions within ourselves, we're creating emotions in other people. That's why I bring emotions into the equation. I know that there's some of you in the room who would rather run outside in the street with your hair on fire than talk about emotions. I get it. Don't worry, I'll walk you through this. You're going to learn the levers that create a positive experience.
I often follow up with people who attend my seminars. People have gotten out of their own way, they've doubled their sales, and they've gone after bigger, bolder projects that they never would have gone after before.
So she's got surround. This thing is around her, right? And is it moving? Is it like a movie? Yeah. It's a movie, all right. Yeah, did you see the change in her physiology? All I had to do was have her look at it. You do this to your customers too, by the way. We try to get somebody's attention by matching and mirroring what they are doing. So if they mismatch us, then we try to match them again. We try to get into their zone, and that's how we try to get their attention.
Reach out to me. I would love to talk to you about the event that you have coming up and find out how best I can serve your audience.
Nancy, that's amazing. What are your favorite audiences to speak to? Who do you generally speak to?
My favorite audiences to speak to are people particularly at that cusp where they're ready to move to the next level. I like to work with people they've had some success and they think that they've made a plateau. The people who are maturing in their career, they're maturing in their relationships, they perhaps are maturing in parenthood, their companies are maturing all at the same time, and maybe they need to take a different step forward as well.
Absolutely. We're going to pull up your website, and as we scroll down the website, I want to talk a little bit about inner healing. What does inner healing mean to you?
Inner healing is the opportunity to go into someone's subconscious mind and find where things are buried that perhaps were planted there at a very young age, and see what's empowering the person, what helps motivate them, also what may be holding them back. Oftentimes it's the stories we tell ourselves that are the problem when somebody doesn't feel empowered. So what I do with people is I listen very intently. As naturally, I'm a talker, and over time I've developed the ability to listen intently for where are they using words that are disempowering. For example, I had a client who, gentleman who had children in high school. He had gone through all kinds of things. We had guided him through divorce and things like that. He had a new love in his life. And he said, "She's out of my league." And I listened to him keep talking and talking. And he said it so many times that I stopped him. And I said, "You realize what you're saying. You're saying you're already sabotaging something that you want in your life." And he didn't even know he was saying it. And so being able to listen intently, point that out, and then make the subtle shifts to be able to shift the thinking, so then that shifts the emotion and the response that is occurring.
Sure.
Because the response is what's going to get the results, right? And often people go, "Well, things never work out for me." Well, let's back up.
Yes.
What thought do you have in your head that's impacting the way you feel, which impacts the way you respond, and then impacts the results? So I can take the results and back it up and say, "Okay, what are you thinking about this?" Now, sometimes with inner healing, I need to go very, very deep into inner healing. And some people have some very traumatic events that have impacted them. And so working with the trauma professionals, I can help with going deep into what has happened and help them separate out the emotions that they have attached to it very quickly.
And let's talk about controlling your emotions, because I know that's something you're passionate about. You were telling me a story right before the show about a four-star general that you helped one time.
Yes, I did. I had actually been in on a speaking engagement, and this gentleman was also speaking at the same time. And when I said I teach people how to manage their emotions, he tapped me on the shoulder when he was done, and he said, I've got an issue, because he had just retired from being a general and had gone into the private sector. And in the private sector, he had to deal with something new, and that was people who didn't have to listen to what he said, and even worse, a board of directors. And so he was having difficulty because people were not doing what he wanted, and he was getting angry about it, and he was getting angry with this board of directors. And it was causing some major problems for himself as well as for the organization. And so working with me, we were able to unpack where was that anger response coming from, and I was able to get him to move that response around, and there's some interesting techniques I use to change the trigger response. And I was able to get him to change the trigger, then that changed the response. And then he was able to respond in a different way. It actually worked out, Jeff, where people on the board of directors went to the highest level and said, man, he's doing a great job. I'm so glad we agreed to bring him on.
Wow.
After working with me. So yeah, it was great.
That has to feel good.
Oh, it does.
How does somebody watching this know when they need to bring a Nancy Cramer into their life?
Oh, that's a great question. When you're not getting you would know that you need to bring a Nancy Cramer into your life when you're not getting the results that you want. So, and you don't understand, what is it I'm doing? You know, what is that little something that's going on that I don't see it? We all have blind spots, right? We all have things that we don't see it, but somebody else can see it very easily. So that's one place. Another place is when people need a sounding board. You know, they just need to be heard. I work with owners of companies and executives, and nobody else, they can't talk to anybody else, right? This is the top secret stuff.
Sure.
They can't talk, but they don't need a therapist. They don't need to be diagnosed with an issue. They just need to talk. And that's when I make a really great sounding board, because I have years of experience in business, working with clients and owning my own company now for being an entrepreneur. I can help guide them through the thoughts to think in order to make the decisions they need to make.
Sure.
And then the third is when they need a cheerleader. I mean, so many times the owner of a company needs somebody to go, great job. You know, they do that for everybody else, right? They run around going, great job, great job, great job. But who does it for them? Right? And so that's part of what I do as well, is I listen to what they're saying. I say, okay, how are you going to recognize that? What are you going to do to reward yourself? That's healthy and a good idea. And let's talk through that. Let's get on the schedule. So that's a good time as well.
Nancy, we got about 2 minutes left. And in the final 2 minutes, I want to talk about anxiety, because I think there's a pandemic of anxiety going on in America right now. People can't sleep at night. They're worried about something. Talk about how that emotion can be so crippling.
Oh, well, anxiety can be crippling. And part of the thing that's crippling is people think, oh, I have to get rid of it. It's like, no, you don't have to get rid of it. I just heard Lisa Barrett Feldman, the author of How Emotions Are Made, discussing watching her daughter in a taekwondo kind of an environment where she was going to have to go up against these really large upperclassmen. And the instructor told her, get your butterflies in formation. And I love that story, and I wanted to give her credit for it, because we need to be able to say, okay, I have some anxiety. Yep. Yeah, I mean, is this a situation that warrants anxiety? Yes, yeah, we have issues that warrant anxiety. My day-to-day, I've got the movers coming in an hour. I had a telephone call right before I stepped in here. There's a lot of things, but I just needed to get my butterflies in formation instead of letting butterflies take over. You allow yourself to calm down. And one of the things that people don't realize is that the mind can't calm the mind down. Only the body can do that. And so if I can leave everyone with just one thing, it's this tip. Use the physiological sigh. This is a sigh we naturally create in our sleep, and it relaxes the body. And this is how it works. You breathe in, nice deep breath, and then one more, and then you sigh it out. Ah, that's it. It's so easy, and it calms you down in any situation.
Wow, I could listen to you all day.
Thank you.
Nancy Cramer, we're going to end with her website, which is nancycramer.com. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom.
Thank you.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.